This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Hello, this is Tess, and I'm a therapist.
And this is Brooke, and I'm an attorney.
We are sisters and the hosts of the Psych Legal Pop podcast, where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist.
We cover reality TV shows like Sister Wives, Love is Blind, Housewives, and anything true crime related.
We use our expertise in law and psychology to break down the shows and cases everyone is talking about.
And since we're Gen Xers, we love to talk about any TV, movies, or topics with a Gen X angle.
So please check us out at Psych Legal Pop, wherever you get your podcasts. We also have a Patreon if you want more pop culture content, plus our Gen X ramblings. You can find us on patreon.com/Psych Legal Pop podcast.
Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And what a journey it has been. This is season 13, episode 11, Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas. Do you think Kody sang that the whole way when he was driving alone to Flagstaff?
I was going to say 1,000% in that moving truck alone.
Again.
Everyone abandoned him in that cul-de-sac. They were like, we're out of here. They knew that's what was about to happen. He had a playlist ready to go.
That's what the family culture ends up being. We've sort of devolved to that state. You're on your own. But the TLC description for this one is, the Brown family is finally moving to Flagstaff, Arizona. Moving day is chaotic, and the dream they are chasing is becoming a nightmare. There's rays of hope. Not there are rays of hope. There's rays of hope, but mostly it's tears as they face an uncertain future.
I gotta tell you, this episode made me emotional because the way things turned out so poorly, and the fact that they were thinking that this was a new future for them, but then they were still kind of torn about whether or not this was the right decision, and we know the answer.
Kody crying and hugging Caleb at the end of this episode as we reach the end of the rewatch was very cathartic for me.
It was. I thought you were going to say it was the real climax of the episode.
For some, not others.
All right. Well, I had a different take on what happened here.
Let's hear it.
The Browns finally realize why professional movers exist. Defying Kody's wishes, they depart Las Vegas, one moving truck at a time. Kody is devastated when it comes time to part from Caleb.
Can't quit you, Caleb. Even though I'm leaving before you're leaving. Thanks for moving to Vegas so I could move to Flagstaff.
But he's leaving them.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. He flips it around.
We do have some announcements, and you might want to listen up because it's very important this week. First and foremost, Season 19 of Sister Wives is going to be returning to TLC on Sunday, September 15th.
So set your DVR, warm up your Max.
Your DVR. Subscribe to Discovery Plus or Max. Get your apps ready and your apps. Get your nachos ready as well. Chili cheese nachos.
I would like to say McKelty was wrong again. So just to point that out, just to clarify.
And Carly was right. We did a breakdown of the trailer, so if you missed that, you got to go back one episode and you can listen to our recap reacting to, what was it, like the 2 minutes of content about what we're going to see and what we believe is the first half of the season.
And you can go on TikTok and watch Kody's cursed reaction to it that I've made, regrettably. Some people are okay with it. Some people are deeply disturbed.
It's the visual that's disturbing, I got to say.
It's the eyes.
So we're excited to be bringing you that as soon as it starts. And then also over on Surviving Reality, our other podcast, we are talking about Welcome to Plathville every week. And we have other exciting things that we're hoping will be coming very soon.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the beginning of September.
And then we're thinking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We just got the announcement yesterday that that's going to be starting on September 18th. So the same week as Sister Wives.
That'll be a big week.
Big week for the Mormon community.
In other Instagram news for the family, Isabel has been traveling around with Gwen and Bea, and they took a little detour. They were on an adventure here. Carly, do you know where they ended up?
Someplace all too familiar to me. A place that holds deep trauma and grievances.
South of the border.
They were in none other than Chichen Itza.
Did they listen to the podcast? I don't know. It's a good inside joke, though.
I need to know.
The Chichen Itza sweats. Did they come prepared for this? I don't know if any of our warnings are enough to prepare.
Did they heat them?
We'll have to see if there's any updates, if they sweat through any shirts.
And I believe we have a Legal Wife voicemail from over on our Patreon.
Hey guys, this is Legal Wife Tom, and I after watching kind of your review of the preview of this coming season, and we see that Robin is going on a redemption arc, and we've been watching older seasons, and in hindsight, we kind of are a little bit more sympathetic and towards Mary because of what she had to go through. But and when we were watching it the first time, we weren't nearly as sympathetic. So what do you think you would need to find out about Robin to kind of look back at previous seasons and watch her story arc with a more sympathetic lens? Thanks, guys. Love the podcast.
Thank you, Tom, for that wonderful voicemail. It's a good question because we have been experiencing the resurgence of Mary as part of the rewatch, but I think that's just either if it's through hindsight or just understanding the entire family was gaslighting her at certain segments during season 13. I think that's where I feel the sympathy. For Robin to come back from where she is right now, I think it would take a lot of action. We get a lot of words from Robin, but then there's never any action. And I think that's what Mary kind of finally realized too. A lot of lip service.
In a lot of different ways.
Well.
And I guess that's how you get to be the favorite. I have a feeling that, if she would step up and do the things that would have made her a good sister wife, that those things could repair her image a bit to the audience. Like, I would like to see her proactively reach out to Mary and see how she's doing and invite her to spend time with her and the kids. We did see in the trailer that Mary is at the She-Ra Chateau, but it seems like it's just for her to deliver bad news to Saul and Ari in person. So I don't think that's progress.
That's more Robin's benefit than Mary's.
And I need to see Robin reach out to the kids and not just McKelty and Tony. I need effort on her part. She needs to be sending that gift to Savannah for Christmas that she never got.
I would like to see her advocate for relationships with children that are not just hers biologically, because I think that's the main difference that we see is that she is always bogarting time with Kody and making sure that he's around for everything that she needs him for with her children, but then she does not become an advocate for other children, like when Isabel had her scoliosis surgery. I get it, it's during COVID. There's other ways that you can work around that to understand this is a really very important thing, and Kody needs to be there for that.
I just don't think, I disagree. I don't think that she's ever going to be able to influence Kody to take those steps. I want to see her step up and do that separate from him. It doesn't matter what Kody's going to do or what Kody feels like his relationship with his children should be. If you consider them your kids and you say that you're one of their mothers, then I want to see you do those things, even if your husband is going to be a piece of shit and not do them himself.
And I was going to say, it's just, she seems to have that level of impact where she is able to influence to get the things that her kids need. So that's what I'm saying is, if there was any sort of support for other kids who are not her biological children, who she was claiming were her children too, I think we would need to see her step up in those regards.
I'm pretty sure all we're going to get this season is her continuing to cry about how everyone else ruined the future that she had envisioned for herself, and I guess riding a horse.
Are they going to get that pony in the water literally? Maybe. But thank you again, Tom, for that wonderful voicemail. Remember, if you want to have your voice heard on the podcast here, be sure to sign up for the Legal Wife tier over at patreon.com/survivingpod, where every dollar you pledge makes us just a little bit more successful than my sister wife's closet.
All right, here we go. This is the last content episode of the rewatch. So let's get this pony in the water.
It's a milestone. Yeah, we've got 1 week to move. So it's the last week in Vegas.
And what does that mean? We're spending every extra second we have with Maddie. I mean, primarily Caleb. But Maddie, Caleb, and Axel are coming over for dinner at Janelle's house tonight.
I didn't like that Kody had to open with Axel is the product of having Maddie and Caleb come. Because
I mean, accurate.
I didn't need that as a mental image, one, and I did not need it explained in that way. Let's work on our phrasing a little bit. Be more mindful about that.
I was shocked by this opening scene, and this is why. Because there was so much food left in Janelle's house. There is food lining the countertops, the refrigerator completely full. It's a week until you move. What are you doing? This is when you're eating the things in the back of the cabinet that you haven't looked at in about a year and a half. You're starting to wonder, did it expire? And you're like, fuck, it didn't. I can't just throw it out. I'm going to have to eat it. Or I'm going to have to move it. And I don't want to move it.
So let's eat it. I think we're just not used to the quantity of food that they normally go through. So is this a normal amount of food for them to go through in a week?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know what the math is on that. But there is a lot of food. Of all the food that she has, though, there's no pickles. So she has to warn Kody about that. But maybe she can check with some of her neighbors because they're not going to be her neighbors for much longer.
Okay, that was a backhanded joke that Kody delivered in such a merry way. In a way that he personally despises when Mary does it, but he did it to Janelle. Because, he's, air quotes, joking about how she could go just borrow them from one of her neighbors. But of course, she's not going to do that because that's not the way these wives interact with one another.
Well, and they barely interact in the cul-de-sac when they do live right across the street from each other. So how are you going to interact with these people when you're living across town?
Well, of course, sir, I am not getting in my car and driving 30 minutes to Christine's house to borrow some pickles.
I'll just go buy some.
Although I might drive 30 minutes for pickles.
To a store. Not to Christine's house where she may or may not have an opened jar of pickles.
Well, let's confirm before we get in the car.
That would be a good call. What's the other problem here? Janelle's AC is just blasting. She's living in a meat locker.
Got to keep all that produce cold. She's got it spread across the countertop.
She's just blowing out that energy bill one last time.
Man, I wonder what it costs to keep those houses cold there. Because they're 4,000 square feet.
When Maddie and Caleb walked in and they noticed how cold it was, they were verbalizing, wow, it's really, really cold in here. That's showing that something's going on here.
I was really sad about the contrast of the fact that the wives don't take advantage of being close to one another, but the kids do. That, again, they never put those walls up in the backyard so that the kids could run between the houses. And Savannah goes to Christine's every morning to get her hair done. And that's not something that's going to continue once they get to Flagstaff.
Kiss it goodbye. And speaking of kissing, Janelle kisses better than she cooks. We know that. That's a fact. What the hell is she cooking?
Oh my God. What was it? It was, okay,
it was like smash burgers, but she's baking them on a baking sheet?
It's a bake, which, okay, I get it. We're going to, I I would maybe use a skillet, but we're going to bake them in the oven.
She had a cast iron skillet out on the counter too, but it didn't
We
look
know
like
you own one.
it didn't look like it was in use.
We know you own one. So she's got the baking sheet, and then she's got foil on it, and then she's putting raw burgers onto this sheet, but it's already covered in what looks like emulsified baked fat. So we've maybe already used it.
This is a few rounds through the oven here. We've had to produce some new patties and then reload the sheet.
It was just very hard to understand what was happening. And it didn't look appetizing.
It didn't look great.
I know we've had that question about that's over on, we did an AMA on our Patreon. What was that, a week ago at this point? And one of the questions was, which house would we want to eat at? Would we eat at Christine's or would we eat at Janelle's? I'm starting to regret my answer.
The trouble was, it was specifically mock tapioca with Christine.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it was a week of meals at Janelle's house. If this is the slop that we're getting, I would have concerns.
Might as well go with the tapioca slop at that point. There are ulterior motives for Maddie and Caleb to be here right now because Kody and Janelle are just trying to sell them on the idea of moving to Flagstaff.
But I love how Maddie calls this out immediately because the whole reason why Maddie and Caleb moved to Vegas was to live close to them and have a support system to raise their children. And now they are picking up and moving to Flagstaff. So why would Maddie and Caleb uproot themselves to go to Flagstaff and follow them there, only to have them uproot again in the next couple of years? Because that's usually how this plays out.
Well, the adults aren't going to understand that, though, because that's what they've done their entire lives, and they've done it to the kids their entire lives. So what's the difference if we moved and then in 2 or 3 years we decided to do it again? You just come with us again the next time. I think the real argument that Maddie had here was that they're moving to a place where there aren't job opportunities for them. And Kody is making this big deal about how this is supposed to be a place where he wants the kids to come back. He wants it to almost be like a compound that they're building on Coyote Pass for the whole family to be. And you're moving to a place where there's not apparently much industry or opportunity for your kids to be employed in.
No, but it's safe because there's nothing there to interact with. Except for Prairie Dog Plague, which is right in the dirt where we're going to be building our house.
Be an exterminator. That's an idea. I don't know if you exterminate the prairie dogs. That sounds mean.
Can you...
They're actually very cute. Diseased, but cute.
Can you clean the soil? Is there some sort of process that we can go through to sterilize the plague? There's a business opportunity for you.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Ready to pop the question? The jewelers at BlueNile.com have got sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds. And they're ready to ship to your door. Go to BlueNile.com and use promo code LISTEN to get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more. That's code LISTEN at BlueNile.com for $50 off. BlueNile.com, code LISTEN.
Cue the fireplace and your favorite fall movie. There's nothing better than a cozy evening at home with a glass of First Leaf wine. First Leaf is a personalized wine club that delivers right to your door. Sounds magical, right? They get to know your favorite tasting notes, which varietals you enjoy, and whether you prefer sweet or dry wines. So in every shipment, you get bottles tailored to your unique palate.
Go to tryfirstleave.com/fall to get your first 6 months for just $44.95 with free shipping.
Bombas presents unsolicited gifting advice. Number 1, if they say not to get them anything, get them something. 2, underwear is a great gift, just not for your boss. And 3, those absurdly soft Bombas socks and slippers you've been eyeing for yourself, they'll love those. And the fact that for every item you purchase, another is donated to someone who needs it, they'll love that even more.
Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
It's the final countdown. Everyone is focused on packing these moving trucks. We're going to pack them up. We're going to get them out of here first thing tomorrow morning.
Kody has no emotions. He is completely numb. He's just here to get the job done. So it's almost like it's Mary's birthday or something.
Just focused on the task at hand. We're going to disassociate for a while. We'll come back later.
But it is the end of an era. So Kody's feeling nostalgic, I guess. He seems a little unhinged.
What I thought was crazy about this is they've been talking this whole time. This whole season has been about them completing this move. And we're about to leave in 24 hours, and they're just now gathering to sit down and come up with a plan for how they're going to execute on this.
Let's organize right now, the day before the move, and then let's not check in or update as the process is going at all. This is what we're going to put together, and then we're just going to be playing freeform jazz tomorrow as things change, as things get moved around. Plans are not going to stick to this, but let's at least come up with some sort of structure so we're pretending like we're organized.
And like we all have a place to go. Christine's house, not ready.
Still hasn't closed on it.
No, so she's moving to where is the big question mark?
Robin's museum rental.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
She made it very clear later on in the episode that she is not the neighbor who will be living here.
So Kody has his legal pad that's covered in manic scribbles. And Post-it notes. He has Post-it notes on top of the legal pad paper.
We really need someone in this family who is good at Excel. I think that would have solved a lot of things for them.
And I have suspicions on which wife would be the Excel wife.
Oh, yes.
Janelle in Excel.
Oh, of course.
Obviously.
A freak in the sheets.
Very much so.
Kody's got a plan. An unrealistic one, of course. He is going to allot 1 hour of time to packing each truck at each house.
He's referring to this as leapfrogging, but I don't think that's the right term we should be using, because he's basically saying, hey, everybody who's here in this room, the entire family, is going to help pack up one house. It will take an hour because there's a million of us, and then we will just leapfrog to the next house. And same thing with unloading. When we get to Flagstaff, we're going to all arrive at the first house, unpack, leapfrog, unpack. So same thing in reverse, all at once, moving on to the next, like locusts.
And they're going to get this all done before 10 a.m. tomorrow.
600 pounds of meat.
I feel like it's like of the essence that they have to get out of there by 10 a.m. because it must be hot as fuck if you waited any longer in the day. Would you want to pack up 4 moving trucks with the sun overhead in Las Vegas in the summer?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. But for him to think that it's only going to take an hour for each house, I don't think I saw anybody help anybody else from other houses during the move.
No, and also it's not like the houses are completely packed. It would be one thing if all your shit was in boxes. That is not the case.
They're putting things in boxes today because it's moving day. Moving day should be all of your shit is already packed. Moving day is not packing day, it's moving day.
No, they're not even prepared for if they had hired movers. Professional movers will charge you more if your stuff is not all packed when they get there.
Because it's going to take time. You're going to waste time. They're going to be standing around waiting for you to pack things that they could be moving and putting on the truck.
Or you're going to have to pay them extra to pack it, which might be the way they should have gone. And we see that because at Janelle's house, already running into problems. She really doesn't have a lot of people to help her pack. And as we know, Gabe isn't a fan of the move. He's been avoiding doing anything related to it. And it's not getting better because he has not packed his room one bit.
She's asking him for his furniture, which should be the big pieces that are in his room because they need to go on this truck at a specific time. So she's asking him for those things. We follow him to his room, and it's like your typical, the same room that we saw. A conversation happened between him and Janelle a few weeks ago.
Well, right. One tiny problem. Everything is still on my desk. All of my clothes are still in my dresser.
So if you need those,
has been moved.
You need to be specific on which pieces of furniture you need, because I'm going to need to just dump all that stuff onto the floor before I can bring that down. I feel like this is the point where Janelle, as a parent, you need to be peeking your head in on the room and saying, looks like nothing's getting done in here, but we are moving tomorrow. So this is a missed opportunity from the parenting side of things. I get it. Gabe's having struggles with it. He doesn't want to do this stuff. He's putting it off until the last second.
Well, it's inevitable at this point.
You need to make sure that he's prepared.
And it's stressing everybody else out, which I think is unfair. And I'm on his side about not wanting to move. It's
100%.
A stupid fucking thing that they're having you do.
I get it.
But it's stressing Janelle out, which is stressing everyone else out, stressing Kody out, stressing Savannah out. Everybody in the house is affected by it.
And by not packing, you're only making it worse. It's only going to be worse. This is something that's happening that is out of your control. It sucks. I get it, but you need to do this. This is something that you need to do. It needs to happen.
Although I will say, just remember what it was like to be in college. That was a long time ago. I've seen people in their college dorm rooms pack an insane amount of stuff in a couple of hours before the deadline they're supposed to be out of there.
I have had to supervise people moving out. So I would go and walk through the rooms in the dorms and say, yep, everything's all clear. No damage on the walls, whatever. Mark it off. Great. But then I would look into everybody else's rooms in that place too and see, how far along are we? You are scheduled for move out tomorrow. And it looks like the same as it did in December in here, if not with more things. So I think it would be in your best interest, so you can avoid a late move out fine, to go ahead and pack that stuff up now, as soon as possible. Grab some boxes and get going.
Well, you really just reverted right back into being an RA, didn't you?
It happens. It happened.
So, I mean, I believe he's capable of achieving unbelievable things and packing this room very fast. But
I know that his plan, because he tells Janelle at one point, he's going to be up all night packing. That is what he's done. He has chosen to not pack at all until the night before they are moving, before they're leaving. But this is like the day of the move.
He's disappearing too. This is crunch time and he's got to go to work. Then he's saying he's got to leave. He's got to go drive a friend somewhere. He'll be back quick. And then he's gone for 2 hours. No one knows where he is. Janelle's calling him, begging him to return to the house.
The ironic thing here is that Kody is deeply disappointed in Gabe because Gabe wants Kody to treat him like a man, but he's acting like a little boy.
Ooh, you know what I want to point out here? There's someone not acting like a parent because we never, in this whole time, have seen Kody have a conversation with Gabe about moving, have we?
Nope, not at all. I feel like that's kind of an important piece of that puzzle.
Should we head across the cul-de-sac to Robin's house?
Robin has a whole house to pack. She's trying to say...
So does everyone else.
Well, I think what I'm getting at is she has already packed more than everybody else, and then she still has her entire house to go through.
It's because you own too much stuff.
It's too much shit. You got too much shit. What I'm upset about is that nobody's really giving Mary any credit for how much she's helped out. I'm seeing her helping with everything. She's helping Audrey and Leon move. She's helping Robin move. I hope she's packed up and ready to go too.
I don't remember her helping Robin.
It was her. She was pushing stuff through up onto the truck with Saul and Dayton. So she was constantly packing with them. So I don't know if they were helping her move her house. It seemed like she was helping out.
I'm sure Robin cried about how she needed more help. She needed more hands. She's got so many kids who are incapable of helping do anything.
But she's also struggling with feeling like they're the dumbest people ever.
Because you are. And this is the dumbest idea ever.
This is terrible.
She did finally come to that conclusion. Should we give her some kudos for that?
Did she make that realization? Maybe she did. I can give her credit for that. While she was packing up and she's super stressed, I'm sure that she's figuring out that this is probably a mistake. Also, she's regretting they should have just hired movers, which we've been saying that for years. Highly recommend.
They would have had you out of there in an hour each house.
They would have walked through in the morning and said, we're going to have to quadruple our price because none of this is packed. You are not prepared for this move. So it's great that you think you're organized, but let me check your yellow legal sheet and your Post-it notes and scribble one down here for you to let you know you are wildly unprepared.
Oh, the places you'll go when you go in Tom's, the beloved family footwear brand. Over the years, we've learned a thing or two about style and comfort. Our fall collection offers hundreds of styles for women, men, and kids at great prices. Boots, sneakers, wedges, loafers, flats, and our iconic Alpargata slip-ons. When you buy Tom's, you help make a difference in the lives of others. Together, we've positively impacted over 100 million people to date, and we're just getting started. Shop the full fall assortment now at toms.com.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
Hi, this is Jonathan Fields, host of The Good Life Project, where each week I talk to listeners about investing in their future by increasing their own vitality. But when it comes to those financial goals, whether it be saving for a home renovation, growing your child's college fund, or travel, life can make it difficult to stay the course. By working with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. Having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill's with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Holiday magic is in the air, and DSW's got all the shoes to make your season extra merry. Believe, you've got parties to attend and lists to check twice, so DSW is taking care of the details, like gifts to make their eyes all aglow. Styles that bring joy to your world. Brands everyone wants, like UGG, Nike, Birkenstock, and more. And deals to make your budget bright. Find the perfect shoes for you and yours at a DSW store near you or DSW.com.
Bombas presents unsolicited gifting advice. Number 1, if they say not to get them anything, get them something. 2, underwear is a great gift, just not for your boss. And 3, those absurdly soft Bombas socks and slippers you've been eyeing for yourself, they'll love those. And the fact that for every item you purchase, another is donated to someone who needs it, they'll love that even more.
Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
We do finally make it to moving day, and we start off not great. We're already behind schedule. It's 9 o'clock. Reminder, they were supposed to leave at 10. So that's starting to look pretty bleak.
It would be a miracle if they could leave by 11 at this point. So we're hoping for a 1-hour delay, but I think we know where this is actually going.
You know what we needed? We needed a little clock in the corner, like on the traders when they're doing a competition.
Oh, I was going to say like on 24, because I'm old.
Even more terrifying, so it's perfect. And that little beeping noise that scares the shit out of you.
That's the anxiety. That's what we need to add here.
They do have extra hands. Caleb and Maddie are here to help. We've got Mitch and Aspen. They're also helping, which is pretty unbelievable. Maddie is helping to pack. They've got the baby. Baby Axel is here.
Is he unpacking too?
He might be somewhere helping.
He might be.
How are they more productive than Robin?
That's not a fair comparison. I don't think that's fair.
Because Robin was freaking out about Ari. Someone's got to watch Ari. I'm like, well, where did Axel go? Who was watching Axel?
Maybe Axel was watching Ari at one point. That would have been helpful.
The problem here is Mitch and Caleb, they have to go to work tomorrow. So I guess they're moving on like a Sunday and they're going to have to be at work the next day. That's
Probably.
An assumption. But anyway, that's what it's looking like. So they have a very small window of time to pack up everything here, get out of Vegas, drive all the way to Flagstaff, help unpack the trucks there, and then turn around and come back so that they can get home and get to work tomorrow morning.
The other kicker here is that we have several children in the family who need to register for school in Flagstaff in person tomorrow.
What did they do? Because we know school starts in I want to say a couple of weeks, but I feel like it's even less than that
It
at
might
this point.
be like a week at
So
this
you
point.
waited until what is probably the deadline to register for this semester.
Correct. That's what's going on. So there are no other options. We cannot delay this. We have to be in Flagstaff today. But it's looking like this is just taking longer and longer. The trucks are not filling up at the rate we were expecting.
That's because they don't have enough people.
Well,
Gabe disappeared again.
we have a lot of people.
It's chaos. It's not even organized chaos.
No.
That's the problem.
Everybody is just scattered around. Nobody knows where anybody is. Everybody assumes that Gabe has been helping at all the other houses, but not wherever Kody is.
Hey, that's a move he learned from Kody.
It is true. He's bouncing around.
Everyone just assumes you're somewhere else doing something important, but you're really just MIA.
Good idea.
Mary is begging for help. I feel bad for her. She's got Leon and she's got Audrey over there, but they have their own stuff. They're packing their own truck because they have to move to Chicago. So really, like, who is helping Mary?
So Mary was asking for a spare person because she's realizing, hey, I'm kind of falling behind. I've got some bigger stuff. I need help with this stuff. So she's voicing, hey, I need support. I'm going to need a spare person. She walks away and continues loading her truck. Kody then realizes
That he's the spare person?
oh no, I'm the spare person. So that's not going to happen.
He's like, I bought you those little carpet things the sliders that you put under furniture so you can move them easier? He's like, I got a pack of those for you.
The little furniture gliders.
Start moving, Mary.
You're welcome.
He really does not want to go over there. He spent a lot of time at Robin's house, didn't he? He was at Janelle's a little bit, but it was more so to just yell about how Gabe was missing.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that must be where... That is probably the truck that requires the most attention, because once we go into Robin's house and we see what's happening, Ari hasn't eaten any food today. She's still in her pajamas, and she's sitting on the kitchen counter.
Mindy's gone.
Aurora is trying to force feed her something, and it's like, dude, if the kid's not hungry, don't eat. Okay, whatever. It's moving day.
She's probably very upset, like dysregulated at everything that's going on.
This is not a typical day. You are not going to maintain your regular schedule and eating habits today. Probably. You're napping. All those things are kind of thrown out the window because it's not a normal day. Chalk it up to moving.
Mindy's not here, so things aren't going as smoothly as they typically do. Christine's panicking. She's yelling at people. Things can't get done fast enough. Robin's scowling.
Christine's going nuts with a knife on a watermelon in her kitchen while she's yelling at children.
Why are we cutting a watermelon on moving day?
For lunch. I don't know. Maybe she found it.
It's also the messiest thing that you could possibly cut up on a countertop right before you move.
It's not my problem. I'm moving out today. I'm just going to cut it up right on the counter. She probably found it in Robin's kitchen.
On the floor
Just
by the front door.
A rogue watermelon. Sweet, sweet sustenance.
All the kids are getting yelled at. That's a pretty clear pattern across all of these houses. Gwen and Isabella are upset about it at Christine's. And then over at Robin's, Brianna, I guess, has just disappeared. She's in her bathroom just looking at all of the boxes.
What destroys me in this interaction is that we have Robin telling Dayton to go tell Brianna that she needs help. So Robin is asking Dayton to go be the messenger and get Brianna and bring her downstairs to help, I guess, watch Ari or feed Ari.
They have to trade out because I guess it sounded like Aurora was the only one capable of packing a computer.
I don't know nothing about no computers. The cables is very confusing. I'm scared to unplug it. I might get electrocuted. She doesn't interact with computers. So then Dayton has to just ping pong back and forth between upstairs with Brianna and downstairs with Robin to let her know, hey, yeah, I don't know. I told her what you said and she didn't do anything. So what? I don't know.
What do you want me to do?
What
you want me to go say it again?
You need me to repeat it louder? What do you want?
It just devolves into Robin crying over her towel bar in the bathroom because this is not easy. And she only likes easy things.
This is a risky move and it's finally getting to her. But at one point, Christine had said something about Brianna was up in her room doing her thing, and Robin on the couch said, yeah, she's up there like drawing. You're drawing on moving day?
What?
Did you hear that part?
No, I thought they were talking about how she was just looking at everything that she had put in the boxes.
Dayton was telling Robin, I don't know, she's up there, she's packing her bathroom. She's just putting stuff in boxes. I told her what you said.
Which is also productive, by the way, because that's also going to have to get done at some point.
That does need to happen, yes. So she was packing up her bathroom, and this is upsetting Robin because she's not doing what Robin told her to do, though, which is come downstairs and help with Ari so that Aurora can pack a computer. We need to be doing the packing. We need to direct the packing.
But she was drawing?
But when Robin said she was drawing...
Like mother, like daughter.
Some hand-drawn sketches, some sterling silver artwork.
You know what? When the inspiration hits you, you just have to get that sketch pad out.
It's moving day. I want to make a truck pendant for the charm bracelet for your throat.
The older kids, they're experienced. They've done these moves before, so they're looking around. They're seeing what a shit show this is, and they're deciding, we're just going to bounce early.
So Maddie is able to present this information to Kody in a way that she realizes that he's reached his desperation point. He is completely spread too thin, and he is running wild as far as what's happening with the trucks. So this is her best time to approach him and say, hey, I have a suggestion for you. What if the 2 trucks that are already loaded right now, what if we just drive them to Flagstaff? We'll start heading there, and then we'll get them unloaded for you. You won't even have to worry about those. They'll be unloaded by the time you get to Flagstaff. That'll be helpful, right? Does that sound good?
For a half a second, he remembers that the whole purpose of this was to have everybody go at the same time, and he's still holding on to it.
Well, he thought about it because then she says, otherwise, we're not going to be able to help.
That's what changed
And
things.
then he goes, yeah, that sounds good. Do that.
Forget the whole plan. They could have moved each weekend in an organized fashion, one house at a time, if he hadn't clutched onto this idea of having to have everyone go together. And in the end, we're ending up in a situation where we're not all leaving at the same time.
Well, then he's yelling and getting upset about, well, we can't all be here filling up one truck. Whose stupid idea was that? It was fucking yours. It was your idea. You were the one who said we are going to descend upon this move like the locusts that we are.
His mistake was starting with Robin's house.
That is an insurmountable task. No matter the crew, the size, the experience level of that moving capabilities that are happening there. No, there's no way. You're not doing that in an hour.
That's what they decide to go with. So Mitch, Aspen, Caleb, baby Axel, Maddie, they're going to leave with those 2 other trucks. They're going to take the meat, the refrigerated stuff that has to go quickly because we know if it's left up to the rest of the family, it'll probably all spoil by the time it gets there. Everyone starts looking around, the others, and they're realizing people are starting to leave. So you know what? I'm pretty good with where I'm at with what I have packed, so I think I'm going to head out too.
So everybody just starts slowly bailing. Things are getting packed up. Car alarms are going off. It's like the ambulances and the sirens in the distance from the Flea High move. That's just playing back in my head now. But everybody's getting out of the cul-de-sac. And then we're dwindling down to the few people who are still left because Christine's house is packed. Janelle's house was packed. So I think those were the 2 trucks that skedaddled out of here. So now we're left with Mary's truck and Robin's truck. And it's just Kody left to pack them.
No one stopped and said, hey, does anyone else still need help? Even if they had left some of the kids to help Mary and Robin, no one did that. It's such an indication of the culture of the family and where things are headed.
I just love how Cody's whining about having more stuff to load himself now. The heaviest trailer he's ever had to load, and he has to do it by himself. And I just wanted to say, you're an adult. Bye-bye. Because he has been ridiculing so many other kids, adult children in his family for not being capable of moving on their own.
He just did that with Leon and Audrey.
And in later seasons, he then ridicules Gabe and Garrison as well. So I feel like this is fitting.
A little cosmic karma.
I feel like that happened for a reason.
This is further frustrating Kody because I guess he envisioned that at some point they would stop packing the trucks and they would have a moment to pause and reflect on the cul-de-sac before they left. And instead, he's so busy just trying to get the task at hand done that he's not going to have that time to remember all of the lovely memories that they have created in the cul-de-sac.
Running the perimeter of the dirt lots, walking into these brand new houses, all the family events, the celebrations, the births, the laughs. Oh, the laughs. He doesn't have any time to reflect on that. He's just super stressed.
Again, maybe that's a thing that you think about before you decide to sell your houses.
That you want to have time to do that?
No, the nostalgia of everything that you have associated with the positive memories and things that happen here, that maybe it isn't a place that you want to leave.
No, I think he still wants to leave. He's leaving. I think he's just upset that now he has to finish packing by himself. And then that just means that he's behind schedule. He's already behind schedule, but now he's really behind schedule.
They do all manage to arrive in Flagstaff. Tires intact.
Woo! Yes, it's a miracle. Hallelujah.
And we're all pulling up to Robin's rental first. How do you get the priority? You were packed last.
So I think the other trucks were probably unloaded at the other houses, respective houses where the stuff was going. So now we have to land here in the rental.
Well, we're here. What was this thing? Like 6,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet, this house?
6,400, I believe.
And they've got 17 moving trucks parked on the street. So people are starting to get concerned.
There's a boatload of moving trucks in the street.
The neighbors are like, what the fuck is happening? There's all these people. There's all of these moving trucks.
It's the Brownie Parade.
This is a very big house. Are all of these people going to be living here? Is all of this stuff going inside this house?
Well, I'd like to see the toggle flip in Robin where she's then telling Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, and Saul and Ari to pretend to be nice to the neighbors before the neighbors start coming over to talk to them.
Pretend to be nice.
Pretend to be nice.
I would be really disappointed if I were one of the neighbors and I met Christine first and then found out that Robin was the one who was living there.
Christine is being very social. She's recruiting teenagers in the neighborhood to help them move stuff in. She has to clarify, though, and put an asterisk next to these interactions and say, actually, I'm not the person who's moving in. You're left with these wet towels over here.
I identified so much with Janelle when she was talking about how she needs Christine. Because Christine is the person at the party who goes around and introduces everyone, and that's not Janelle's thing, and it makes her life easier. And that's how I feel about it, too. I would love someone to go interact with the neighbors on my behalf and do that initial introduction so that I don't have to.
But then they start trying to explain...
Should I have a sister wife?
No, I don't think so. Because then they start trying to explain the familial relationship.
We're one big family.
It's not really resonating with the locals. It's not making sense.
This was weird to me because they have talked so much about how being on the show has allowed them to be open and how much they love that. And then they're in a situation where you could walk up to someone and say, yeah, we're all one family. We're polygamists. This is our husband and we're each his wives. And that's why these fucking cameras are here that everyone is acting like aren't there. Because we're on a TV show that is in its 13th season following us.
But Christine instead is like, just think of me as like the kooky aunt. Robin's going to be your neighbor. These are her kids. These are all our kids. But my kids aren't going to live here and I'm not going to live here. We live openly, but we keep it quiet. You know what I'm saying? It's just confusing for everybody.
We have to do a grand tour of Robin's mansion.
Which, of course, leads to Aurora breaking down in tears. She's crying every step of the way through this house, which is allegedly beautiful. Is it beautiful? It's so pretty, is what the words that they're using to describe it. Why does it look like a modern art museum?
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like the design of this house. It makes me uncomfortable. There's also like a lot of windows, which can be a nice thing, but I feel like, especially, we know Robin doesn't like blinds and curtains. I just feel like it's very voyeuristic.
Maybe she's into that.
And then there's not actually a lot of room in the rooms where you want there to be room. The living room wasn't that big. There's this long dining room table, but there's a lot of wasted room. Like you said, like an art gallery.
It doesn't feel like a functional, habitable space. It feels like a display gallery.
Apologies to whoever owns this house now.
I don't know. It's just... Robin's the go-to gal. She wants to be the hostess with the mostest, and that's what she keeps getting.
I didn't like that they did this tour I understand that they do this tour for others. We ended up seeing them go through Mary's house in season 14.
But did you see Gwen and Isabel's faces when they were walking through the house?
Well, so that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah.
I think that you're unintentionally creating jealousy and resentment when the kids are seeing that there isn't an equal living situation for everyone. And Christine did choose her house. She did. She said she liked it. She was very excited to live in that house. But still, that's not the kids' decision. And they're seeing that over at Robin's, she's living in 6,400 square feet in this very modern, updated home. Everyone has their own bedroom. And then they're all squeezing into Christine's house where she's having to convert a loft into a bedroom for herself so that they have enough room.
Starting to notice some differences in the treatment, how things are going here.
The resources are very obviously not divided evenly.
So now it comes time to say the goodbyes to the older kids. Thanks for all your help. Axel's puttering down the driveway with Kody. They're having a little moment out there.
And they don't know when they're going to see each other again. So that's making this goodbye extra difficult. There's not something on the horizon, which I guess you could have planned, something to look forward to.
At least a holiday. Yeah, I mean, Robin was very excited to be hosting holidays here in her huge house. So I feel like a holiday would be an easy one to say, hey, we'll see you at Thanksgiving or whatever else is coming up. But the real problem is we got to say goodbye to Caleb. Kody's going to break down. I hate goodbyes.
He's in tears. They have a real big bear hug.
And Kody's moved to tears. He is unable to speak.
Holds the hug a little extra long, a little longer than Caleb was anticipating.
It's a couple of soft pats from Caleb on Kody's back to
That's enough.
Yeah, signaling that, okay, I'm good. Are you good? I think that's enough. Caleb lies and says, we'll come visit often. It's just something you say. We'll keep in touch.
Whatever makes you feel better. I will not keep in touch, Bo.
Okay.
For those of you who recall 90 Day with Natalie, never forget Natalie. You know what? Hair very similar to Kody Brown's.
A little bit, yeah. So Kody just leaves Caleb with peace and love. That's the only two words that he's able to mutter as part of this goodbye.
He comes away from that and he's manic now.
It's time for a big announcement in Robin's living room. And he lets everyone know that they've been living in exile for the last 7.5 years. I don't know if you were aware of that, but that's what Vegas was. It's exile.
And this is officially the end of it. We're here. We're someplace that we can call home, unlike Las Vegas.
A place that we chose where we're living. So that means that this is home.
Well, except for you guys. You didn't want to live here. You kind of wanted to stay in Vegas. But
And Gabe, I know that you would prefer to still live in Vegas, even though we're moving to Flagstaff and we are here now. But
freedom from exile for the adults.
We're still chasing that Lehigh dragon.
They gather for a family prayer circle, which is something that we see not really occur very much after this. This is when I noticed that the living room was not as large as maybe it could have been.
Yeah, and once you get that many people standing in the room, you realize it's really not as spacious as you thought.
You suddenly realize why maybe they need a central gathering place in the Biggie Housey.
I like that they did huddle up for the prayer, and Robin kept her eyes open during the prayer, of course, because she has to snoop around and keep an eye on everybody. But the face that she made when Kody is talking about making a beautiful, happy family again, the look that she shot over to him was pretty amazing. Incredible.
She has to hate doing family prayers because she doesn't know what's going to come out of Kody's mouth, and she also can't police him because his eyes aren't open looking at her. So he's not catching the signal that maybe he should shut up or change what he's saying. She definitely didn't like the again part because it implied that something had been broken. And whenever that happens, she automatically defaults to everyone thinks it was my fault that it happened. That's what I saw coming out of Robin's eyes.
It was all in there.
A death stare. She was not happy.
Not pleased with the way things are going. But we wrap that up. Leon and Audrey are getting ready to head out. So now it's kind of finally hitting them because they're just going to continue on to Chicago as part of their move. So Flagstaff was just kind of a pit stop along the way where they were helping out. And so now they're going to pick things up and just keep on heading down the road. So now it's another real heartbreaking goodbye between Mary and Mosby.
Oh, little Mosby. The saddest part for me was seeing all the dogs leave, and Ari was on the same page with that.
Mary is crying at the door, and Ari catches her. But it is actually a legitimately sweet moment that they kind of share together, where Ari is realizing that Mary's upset and she's trying to comfort her and cheer her up and make her feel better. So I thought that was a really endearing moment.
It was much nicer than the sentiment of go on dates.
Well, yeah. It's okay, Mary, don't be sad is a better sentiment to have than have dates.
And they just head back to the living room where everyone else is, and it's a big unknown about what this change is going to do to the family.
Knowing what we know now, it made this extra rough to watch, though.
I did not like this move. I hated it. I would much rather be entertained by the move from Lehigh to Vegas.
This is not a funny, heartfelt one to go back and watch.
No, even though it was plagued by just as many moments of stupidity and disorganization, it was not, it was, like you said, it's hard to know how things turned out. And it makes you wonder, if they had stayed in Vegas, what would have happened? They would have fallen apart, but maybe differently. Maybe in not such a devastating fashion.
Would it have been worse to have Christine leave and then sell her house in the cul-de-sac?
Like, it would have been a good TV show to watch them be divorced and have to live in the same cul-de-sac together.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good. There would have been some good content in there, for sure.
Next episode. Well, I didn't write down the description, but we're going to be covering a summary, a summation, if you will, a symposium. No, I just wanted to use that because that's Mary's
I almost said
Worthy Up event.
I almost said Wonder Up, but it's Worthy Up.
I like Wonder Up.
I wonder a lot about what's going on with that symposium.
We're going to be summarizing the 2 episodes of the tell-all that happened this season. And I know we don't typically cover the tell-alls when we do rewatches, but this is such a pivotal moment in the family and how things change. And what I'm very excited about is we all know the tell-alls are filmed a little bit later. So what we're going to be seeing is them reacting to season 13 footage in real time of season 14, when things have already started to devolve.
The honeymoon phase is over. We are no longer flying high on the moving idea of Flagstaff being the promised land, and now we're dealing with the realities of Kody's promises, and he's not living up to them.
So stick with us. Come back next week for that, and then we're going to have some fun things lined up until the start of season 19. Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.